Yo, people, what is good? Sorry for the lateness. As Matisse says, lateness is greatness. To be fair, lateness is definitely not great today, but it's been a long time since I caught up with my dog, Fuad, man. What are you saying, man? What's good?
All good, man. Life's busy. You know what I mean? We're out here. As you, man, was saying, out in New York. We outside. You know what I'm saying? Trust me. But no, man, good to catch up, actually. It's been a minute since we even done like a THFC show. Don't worry, people. Hey. Next season, we are back. We will be back in a few weeks, in fact. You know what I mean? But hey, it's off season now. As you lot can see, we've been doing a lot of different stuff. So, you know what I mean? We thought there's been a few signings here and there, you know what I'm saying? So only right to catch up with TOBS, you know what I'm saying?
A little something. Spurs starting coming out the blocks firing as per. Well, I say as per, it's not even as per, but last season did the same. This season doing the same as well. But listen, I think whereas last season I was excited, this season I ain't gonna get too carried away, man. Like decent start, but bruh, there's too much. Too much has happened. Too much has happened for me to be like, oh my god, oh yes, oh Spurs are even different. Nah.
I love it.
Nah. No more. No mass. No mass.
Bro, I remember last year it was like that. We had the early window, everyone was getting gassed, and I was like, I don't know, let's calm. By the end of the window, it was like, yeah, we won the window. Everyone remembers the show. We were there chopping it up and everything. But listen, obviously, a few bits of news are coming out. I'm sure you'll go through it and everything. But yeah,
you got anything to say to this?
These allegations are crazy. Hey, accusations.
False accusations.
Brother. Hey, listen, one Apes on Tape clip went viral on TikTok, and that was it. It was curtains for me, bro. I'm like, and the worst was, it wasn't even the clip. Do you know what it was? It was some troll in the comments lying about me. I'm like, yo, I can't beat these guys. I can't beat them.
Listen, you know what the saying is? If you can't beat them, then join them.
Hey. Hey. You can't trick me. You can't trick me.
Join them, but listen, let's bring it back on football, man. Because like you said, it has been a busy period so far over the past couple of weeks. Probably this week in particular, man. I think there's been a lot of Spurs news going around this week, and obviously I know we did sign a player before him, but I think it's only right that we start by talking about the biggest deal that Tottenham have made so far in this transfer window, which is the acquisition of James Maddison, £40 million deal from Leicester, 5-year contract, just over 9 million quid a year, which works out to around 175k a week. 26 years old, homegrown. Bro, take it away, man. What are your thoughts on this signing?
Bro, perfect signing, in all honesty, for me. I think when you look at the value for money, 40 million for that caliber of player who's in his prime. I think the only maybe kind of hit you could think is the tail end of last season, kind of the form and how kind of Leicester got relegated. I didn't really feel like he really pulled his finger out to drag them out of that position, in my opinion. Even though he did early in the season, he was doing bits, but that was just one moment where I thought, is there something there? But outside of that, honestly, for me, perfect. Number 10, creative. We've been crying for that for about 3 or 4 years. Someone who can come in, take set pieces. Let's not forget, he can even play out wide in certain times. For Leicester, he was doing that as well. But for me, exactly the type of profile you could say Eriksen had as well at the club. Someone who could play across that kind of midfield attacking 3, but then take set pieces as well and be a dead ball specialist when need be. And I think that is going to be so key. I think Perisic came in last season, obviously improved the situation of how it was the last couple of years with the corners and stuff. But I just feel like it's the perfect sign of what we needed, in all honesty. And I think the kind of caliber of player Spurs fans have wanted, like even with the goalkeeping situation, we'll get onto in a little bit, and some of the centre-back names and stuff. But when you talk about if you ask Spurs fans this summer for that number 8, 10 creative position, give me a list of names that you want. James Maddison would have been in 99% of people's top 3. So for me, in my opinion, especially when you look at the price, the age, the quality, give me that, man. Let's see what we can build with. Think of it as well. It's like Maddison there, Kulusevski, Son, if he can get back to his levels. Kane, who knows? Maybe hold him hostage for another year. We'll talk soon. But it does kind of make you think, just from an attacking perspective. Yo, do you know what? We could have something there for sure. And then as a midfield combination, when you look at Maddison, Bentancur, and Basuma, that for me is like a very well balanced midfield as well. So you just almost feel like he is that missing link between the attack and midfield, and that's what we've always said. We're just missing that creative spark, that creative link between those two. We've relied on Harry Kane, to be honest, for the past 3 or 4 years to be that guy dropping deep and doing all of that. But no need, brother. Get back to you're 30 plus now. Get back to being in the box. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I think I fully agree with everything you said, man. And I think the key thing for me here is Spurs have finally signed a midfielder that connects the dots, right? I think over the past couple of years, I would say pretty much since Poch's last transfer window, right? Since Poch's last transfer window, we've not signed forward-thinking midfielders. It's been workmen-like midfielders who can like either do their work in the first phase or second phase of play. We've not really signed any midfielders that does their work exclusively in the third phase, right? I look at the midfielders we've signed since then. Bentancur, good player, very good player, but he's not a 10, right? He's a CM, he's a pure number 8. We signed Højbjerg, who was initially playing as a 6, but is a number 8. We signed Pape Matar, who we've not really given an opportunity, but he's again a 6/8. We've signed Basuma, who's a 6/8. We even signed God help me. We even signed Gedson Fernandez. I don't even know what the hell that guy is, but bruh, he's bruh. So you get the point, right? I feel like
we forgot about him.
Yeah, exactly. So I feel like since Eriksen left or fell off, like not to say that creativity falls down to one player. I don't think it does. And I think the very best teams in Europe, they have their creativity spread throughout the team. You've got centre backs who can pass out. You've got wing backs or full backs who can create. You've got midfielders who can play forward-thinking passes. You've got forwards who can beat players 1v1. But fundamentally, Tottenham did not have a midfielder who could actually pull strings in the middle of the park, right? Someone who can connect the dots. We didn't have that midfielder. Now, signing James Maddison, we finally have someone who can do the job required in the final third, someone who can actually get the ball in between the lines and make shit happen. Because prior to this, we had no midfielder in the squad who was capable of doing that, man. And I just think with the age he's at right now, 26 years old, he's entering his prime years as a footballer as well. This is a guy who's never shot shy. Over the years at Leicester, he's consistently put up numbers, always getting good goal scoring numbers as well. I think when you look at his assist numbers as well, and even beyond his assists, because I feel like assists is very surface level. What's that? Exactly. Just creating chances. Creating chances in open play. Forget about just the set piece element, which I'll come to in a second, but just creating chances in open play. He lives and breathes to do that. Like some of the chances he puts on a plate for Barnes, he's put on a plate for Barnes, Iheanacho, Dakar, Vardy, etc. Like this guy, he's great at opening up a game of football, right? And I feel like it's a high time that Spurs finally prioritize this element of their midfield, because we've been so consumed with trying to make ourselves stable, right? None of our midfielders are able to actually make forward passes, drive with the ball, shoot with the ball, like be what's the word I'm looking for? outside of Benton Core.
Be expressive, man. Like that's what we lack, man. Like I think the only one you could say is maybe Ndombele and even like Lo Celso to an extent. I'll say like those two came in, but they were complete duds, bro. And like as you can tell, we're struggling to get offers for Lo Celso this summer. Ndombele's been given a final chance, and he's got to come in basically to try and prove himself as a squad option. But as you said, bro, we've been missing that type of player. And the last player who, for me, did it was Christian Eriksen, who could connect those dots. The question for me I ask now is, Maddison, does he come in and force Ange? Or I don't even know what type of formation we're going to play with, by the way. But is he now going to make us go into a 4-2-3-1 where he is the number 10? Or can he play the number 8 position a little bit deeper in a 4-3-3? Because these are questions that are going to be asked. As much as we can ask for the versatility across the attacking three, he will be asked to play, maybe play in a midfield 3 as well. Do you think he could do that?
I think he can do that. Yeah, I think he can do that. I think he did that at times for Leicester. There were times where Brendan Rodgers would switch to a 4-3-3 and Didi is the lone 6, Tielemans slightly further, and Maddison is the free number 8. I think he could do that. But as I said, it'll be interesting to see how Ange wants to use him, because obviously Ange has predominantly played a 4-3-3 in his time at Celtic, from what I've read. But then again, we also heard from all the Spurs journals that Maddison was Ange's number 1 target. So if he's not Ange's number 1 target and someone who he thinks perfectly fits into his system, then that can only bode well in terms of how he plans to use Maddison as well. And I think this comment, sorry, not super chat, this chat is perfect. Big up Soft as well. He says Maddison is similar to Eriksen, and Eriksen could go missing sometimes too. And I think that is a fair statement to make, right? Mm-hmm. James Maddison is a quality player, but there are times, and Leicester fans will tell you this as well, there are times where he does have a tendency to go missing or go off the boil, and it's not just 1 or 2 games, it's a couple of games. And I think it's a give and take thing. We're going to have to accept those moments with James Maddison and hope that he gives us as few of those moments as possible. But those negatives also come with the positives, like you said, the chance creating, the goal scoring, the set pieces, bro. We now have someone who is a big problem from set pieces. He can take free kicks indirectly and directly, and he put his delivery is pinpoint, man. Honestly, he's a baller. Like, to put it simply, he is a baller. He's someone who enjoys having the ball, right? Too many times our midfield, they get the ball from the centre backs, pass it straight back to the centre backs. They don't want the ball. They don't want the ball. The only person who wants the only person who wants to take this ball under pressure is Bentancur. Bentancur, and to I guess Bissouma to a certain extent, because I don't really feel like he's been able to express himself fully. But the old Bissouma and Bentancur at Spurs, they're the ones who can take the ball under pressure, invite pressure onto them, and release. And keep, do you get what I'm saying? James Maddison, he's the one that can play in the hole and do those things, man. He can find the attackers and he can have pops at goal himself. Like, we just have to look. When we beat Leicester 6-2 or 6-3, whichever it was last season, we didn't deserve that 6-3 win. Probably deserved to win, but wasn't a 6-3 or 6-2 game at all. In the first half and for the early part of the second half, he was killing us, bro. Killing us. Do you get what I'm saying? So, yeah, man, I think this is a really good signing. I think the price as well. I mean, what's your thoughts on the price? Because I feel like 40 million in this climate is a snip for a player of his quality.
I honestly think it would have been 50 million and they weren't willing to budge from that. But I think the fact that we're sending them Harry Winks for 10 million their way, they've kind of accounted that as like a discount off the deal, if that makes sense. Like, all right, we'll give it to you for 40 million. 40 million sounds nice for us, but in essence, it would have been 50 million had Harry Winks not been going the other way. That's how I see it personally. It's similar like, do you remember when we got Højbjerg, but then we sent Kyle Walker-Peters the other way? So I always like to think we got Højbjerg essentially for 3 million.
I hear you. And I think that's another thing to touch upon. I think this whole package deal in total, we've got rid of a player who's clearly not good enough for Spurs, and we've been wanting to get rid of him for a while. And we get in a better player, a much better player who's actually homegrown as well into the team. We've basically been able to kill 2 birds with 1 stone here. So I gotta say, I think this is actually a fantastic bit of business from the club for once, and we can only hope and pray that the rest of the deals we see this window follow this level of productivity and shrewdness, man. We just have to hope and pray. I mean, Wink's leaving for 12 million. That's literally, that's music to my ears, man. Music to my ears. And we just got to hope that the rest of the duds in our team, they can be moved on as well this summer. But that's James Maddison. I want to talk to you about Vicario. What do you know about Guglielmo? Wait, I'm going to pronounce this properly. I know how to. The G is the second G
on Twitter. £10. Anybody who can say his name correctly.
The second G is silent. Yeah. So Guglielmo Vicario. Yeah. Guglielmo. Flipping hell. Guglielmo.
Clip it. That's a gelato.
I was pronouncing it properly, man. So it's Guglielmo Vicario. There.
Yeah.
There. G silent. Yeah. So what are your thoughts on Vicario?
Surprise one, to be honest. I didn't know much about him. The only thing I can say is since we were kind of linked with him in the last week or so and signed him, a lot of the kind of Serie A fans that I know who are Inter Milan fans or AC fans were always saying, yo, if Onana leaves or if Mike leaves, they would take him as a replacement. He's the next kind of Italian one up. He's been playing really well this year, apparently. And some of the comps I've been seeing, I'm like, this guy has some good passing ability, which is kind of what we were looking for out of Raya. I said the one concern about Raya I had was his height. The guy is, I think, 184 centimeters, not the tallest of goalkeepers, and on his feet, I think we have been overrating him a little bit, I do think as well. But overall, from what we've seen, I think a very good goalkeeper, a reliable one. And I think for 40 million, I would have said, give me that instead. But if in hindsight, we could get him on a free next year and then maybe take the gamble on Vicario this year, see how that turns out, why not? I think it could be a chess move, if anything. And then if Vicario turns out well, there you go. No need to even look at the Raya deal next year. Do you know what I mean? But that Raya deal doesn't go away because essentially he's already said he's not signing a new contract. So for me, I think it's a short-term gamble. If Lloris is leaving this summer as well, I guess it's where we are now. Do you know what I mean? The goalkeeper market, there isn't a bunch of goalkeepers out there that I think Spurs can really go out there and say, all right, we want you. You're the perfect replacement. Of course, we'd love to look at someone like Onana, but we're not in that pool at the moment. Do you know what I mean? We just finished, ninth place, no Champions League football. Ange Postecoglou coming in as the new manager, no director of football. So I wasn't expecting us to sign like a Weldy, but Raya, you looked like you had a solid option there. So I thought, don't do the typical Spurs thing for me, which is you see the certified option for a certain price and you go, nah, do you know what? I'm going to go and take the cheap option, which is what we've seen over the year, whether it's Skriniar, whether it's Lenglet coming in last year, the Bastoni situation. So time and time again, we've seen that. So I hope this isn't another one of those situations for me. But from what I've seen so far and what I read and hear from good sources, it seems like a decent piece of business. So I'm willing to kind of, and new manager as well. If a new manager wants to make a signing, because like I remember a lot of the times last year when Conte first came in and we were linked with Tom, Dick and Harry, there was a few names that I was like, and people were like, hey, if Conte wants him, give it to him. New managers come in now. You've got to, if he said he wants him, give it to him.
Yeah. No, I think, sorry, let me even put this comment back up 1 sec. Because I think I broadly agree with you. And one thing you mentioned, which I hadn't really thought about, is with Spurs not going in for Ryan now, maybe he could stay at Brentford and then leave him the free transfer next season. But then in my head, I feel like Brentford have already prepared for him leaving because they already signed a goalkeeper this summer as well, right? So I'm expecting that they want to try and recoup some money off Raya before he loses any sort of value next summer. So I do still think he's going to leave. I just don't know where he goes now because I think he was definitely set on joining us this summer and now we've basically moved on because they didn't come down on their 40 million price. But generally, I'm with you. When I saw 40 million was the ask, I literally came on my channel and I even said it. I said it's too much money for Raya with 1 year left in his deal. However, I don't care. Just for the sake of having a very good goalkeeper who knows the Premier League and has actually performed in the Prem over the last couple of years, I would have been happy with Spurs overspending on David Raya, because I see the goalkeeping area as a crucial area for Tottenham, right? It's an area that we can't really afford to have duds in, right? We can't. We tried the backup thing with Gazaniga. It wasn't that great. He wasn't the worst keeper, but he wasn't good enough to be Lloris's number one. Yeah. We tried to bring in what's my man Golini on loan. It didn't work. Joe Hart, I don't even know what the club were playing at there. Fraser Forster, to be fair to him, he did well last year, but he's like 50 years old and it's a short-term fix, right? So we now need to plan for the long term. So I wasn't really in the business of Spurs moving sort of cheap over the goalkeeper. Like, if you've identified a target and he costs X, then just pay X. Don't really care. If it's good enough, just pay it. But one thing I also have grown sort of angry with Tottenham about over the last couple of years, and just in general with Enoch, is our plan B planning. Like, we struggle a lot with finding alternatives. You saw in the summer when we were linked with Gavardio and Bastoni. Bastoni didn't want to come. Gavardio price was too heavy. So they said, hey, you know what? Let's just ditch that altogether and bring in Longley on loan. That's not a good enough plan B. It was something that we had to take. It was a player that could do a job under Conte, but he can't do the job. I'm tired of Spurs looking for players who can do a job instead of the job required. So I think with Vicario, whilst I've not watched him, from what I read and from what I'm hearing, it looks like a potentially sensible signing, man. It really does. I think at his age as well, 26 years old, 6'4" height, and profile-wise, basically follows on from David Raya in terms of his ability to shot stop to a good standard and his ability to play out. I even think his ability to play out might even be better than Raya's. I'll be real. Based off what
I thought it, but then I was like, yo, you know what? I can't go for a few compilations. I was like, but from what I'd seen in those compilations, his long passing anyway, the guy has a miss out on him. Like, he constantly finds these passes where it's just, I'm going to get the team out of trouble. And sometimes it was under a lot of pressure as well. So I was like, fair enough. I can't remember the last time I seen Lloris do that, bro. I can't like, big up Lloris, one of the old school OGs.
Yeah. So big up Dave as well, right? So Dave was a Milan fan. He said, big up TOBS. Vicario is the best keeper in Italy, having seen Donnarumma up close for years. I can assure you, for me, Vicario is even better. Does not have blunders in him. Costs 1/3 in salary. Now, this interesting. Big up Bashir as well, or Bashar, sorry. He says Vicario is a good goalkeeper, TOBS. I follow Serie A. Do not underestimate him. I'm not. I'm giving him a chance. I just hope that he's good. I just hope that he's good, man. And I feel like with him, at the very least, as I said, he follows the profile goalkeeper that Spurs want. Spurs wanted a modern goalkeeper, someone who can play out with the ball, right? And when I watched his interviews, I know it's only 3 minutes, he actually described himself as like an attacking goalkeeper. He said he likes to take risks. Sometimes it doesn't pay off, but it doesn't really put him off because that's just his game. He likes to have the ball. And when you watch I watched the same comp. I think it was We Are Tottenham who put it together. But a lot of the comps, he's outside his box, bro. He's outside his box, comfy playing with the ball, left foot, right foot, long range, short range, bro. It's looking like no problem. So obviously it's different. Premier League, you got teams who are better at pressing. You got teams who are more physically opposing than teams in the Serie A. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see how he adjusts. But 6'4", allegedly he's meant to be commanding. He's meant to be commanding in these areas.
The area I'm looking at the most is like in the Premier League. I think we've always seen foreign goalkeepers come in and kind of get tested. You know, how you command your area. Do you can have that tall frame, but can you dominate it? Do you know what I mean? Thibaut Courtois is one I can think of who came in and kind of straight away asserted himself, bro. I remember David De Gea, it took him a little while, and then obviously you've seen him a decade later still struggling. But yeah, bro, there's definitely going to be some teething period and definitely going to be some errors or so or whatever. But I just hope he's kind of ready for this next step as well, because it's one thing. I know people are saying Empoli are the Brighton of Serie A or whatever, but it's one thing being mid-table Serie A or lower half, if you like, to all of a sudden now you're in the Premier League where the lights are bright, bro. Couple mistakes, you're getting cooked. The timeline, you're a mess, and your career's over before you know it. 2 years, you're playing in the Serie A, Serie B, Como or something with Cesc Fabregas.
No, I agree. I think with him, seeing is believing. I'm not gonna gas him up too much because I've literally never watched this guy play. I literally only have watched compilations or scouting videos or read about him. So we have to see what he can do. We have to see whether he can adjust. But the data from what we've been presented with so far points to this guy being potentially a good signing for Spurs. Not just the cheap signing, even though he was the cheaper alternative, but fundamentally a player that ticks the boxes that the manager wanted, right? I saw, again, looking at the interview, he said that like Ange spoke to his dad or something like that. Spoke to his dad. I know. Sorry to do all this flipping gimmicky merchant, passion merchant nonsense, but bro, he it said that Ange spoke to his dad. And I think he liked the fact that Vicario had basically worked his way up through all of the leagues in Italy. And I think it was like reminiscent to Ange basically working his way up through the football ladder. You know, all this cringy shit, man. So I like it. I like this stuff.
We share the same DNA, lad. Yeah, we've climbed our way through the ranks. Yeah. I tell you, Vicky, you come to Tottenham. Hey, listen, I already know the spiel, man.
Yeah, man. But listen, I think that's another thing that's important as well, right? The manager prioritized James Maddison. He wanted James Maddison. The club got him Maddison. The manager prioritized a ball-playing goalkeeper who's strong in his own box. And the data, we don't know how he's going to pan out in performances, but at the very least, the data points to Vicario being that. So the fact that the club are getting players that the manager wants is a positive indication. Of course, it's not perfect just yet because there's many more players that we need to move on and a couple more players that we need to bring in that we're going to talk about. But it's a fairly positive sign amongst the sea of negativity and dross. It's a fairly positive sign. So we just have to hope and pray Vicario is not a dud, because I know you feel it as well. I feel it. We can't afford for this guy to be a flop, man.
It's one of those, and that's one thing you were saying earlier as well. It's one of those positions you just can't afford to go cheap, and I can't help but think that'll be the narrative if it doesn't kind of work out. But listen, he's young. There's a lot of promise. There's a lot of talk around him as well. So yeah, as you said, let's kind of think positive and hope that it's the long-term replacement for Lloris rather than a short-term stopgap.
Yeah, I agree, man. I agree, and I think another thing, he speaks English. His English is very good. I was shocked by that because typically, you know, some of these Italians, they don't want to leave their country. They don't really care for any other languages or ways of life apart from their own. So for him to actually leave Italy and he already speaks English, thank you. Because we still got man like Sergio Aguero who was in this country for 10 years and still can't speak English properly, man.
Yeah, that's funny, man. Now when you're that good, you can afford to still. I can't lie.
Yeah.
You're not good.
Fair. But and lastly as well, I think it's one of several changes that we needed to make to our defense. So it's good that we've prioritized the goalkeeper. It's good that we've prioritized the creative player, but it's just a drop in the ocean. it is just a drop in the ocean. And that moves us on to our actual back line. So our back four, obviously, Destiny's coming in this summer. Pedro Porro's deal is about to be made permanent in the next couple of days. And yet here we are with Dyer, 1 year left in his deal. Sanchez, 1 year left in his deal. Sessegnon, 1 year left in his deal. Joe Rodon, I don't even know how many years he's got left on his deal. And Japhet Tanganga as well. So, like, before we talk about the players that we've been linked with, where are you now with the players that need to go? Because, and when I say that, I don't mean do you want them to stay or do you want them to go? Because I know you want them to go, but I'm saying, how do you feel like the club should play it with some of these guys? Because teams aren't really in the market for them at the moment, and with 3 of them, they've got their contracts running out. So how would you play it?
Bottom basement prices. You see what you just did with Harry Winks, where you just said 10 million. All right, I'll eat it, sell him. You could have got 10 million for Harry Winks 2 years ago. But 2 years ago, we were too prideful and thought, you know what, maybe we can get a little something. Don't fish and hunt in the market for bids, in my opinion. Like Sanchez, I've heard there's rumors of La Liga clubs want him, Serie A clubs want him. It's just a case of we want to kind of maybe get the right fee because we paid 40, whatever it was. Can we maybe get close to 20? What? Bro, this guy has shown we should be doing anything at all costs to cut ties. As long as we can get double figures, safe. Or 10 plus million, if you like. For me, I would cut ties with all of these. As far as our defensive situation right now, I see it as we've only got one centre back at the club, bro, and that's Christian Romero. That's why I keep saying we need a minimum of 2 or 3, maybe. But listen, we only have one actual centre back that is of use at the club. The others, good to go tomorrow if they're like. And I'll be honest with you, the ones we're being linked with as well. Tapsoba, for example, good player, I think. Definitely potential for growth. I think could come into the Premier League. Very combative player as well. Good passer of the ball. But I remember like similar like Jonathan Tah maybe a few years back. There was kind of a lot of good noise about him that kind of faded away. And I'm kind of thinking, could Tapsoba kind of be the same situation? But I think if he comes, I think that would be a good signing. The one that for me, I don't know much about. I think you was asking me even to come on here and talk about.
How do you not know? You're Dutch. How do you not know about it? You can talk to me about Berghaus and fucking who are these other players? Who's that next striker? Hey. Brian Bobby and all these next.
Listen. When it comes to Ajax and the academy, I can talk that all day.
We don't care about them, man.
Hey, listen, I don't know too much about that. And then I haven't been watching too many Wolfsburg. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say just because he's Dutch, I know about him, bro. I have no clue, and I think I maybe watched one Wolfsburg game this season, full 90-minute game, and I'm like, yeah, I'm telling you, people at the time were saying crazy. Do you remember Jonathan Tah? The hype around him.
Yeah. I remember. He was good,
bro. He was being linked with Liverpool, Tottenham, all the top sides, and now people are telling you Tapsoba's clear of him. So that's my thing. Sometimes with these Bundesliga defenders, I do think he is. From what I have seen, I think he's good. But do you remember 6 months ago we were being linked with his teammate Hinsapi? Where's all that gone? This is what I'm saying. Is every window there seems to be like a flavor of player. I'll be honest with you. This Sven kid as well, Tapsoba, I'm very fine with. By the way, I don't have a problem with that one. I actually hope we sign him. I think he's a very good quality. Could come in straight away, make an impact. The Van der Ven, I personally I'm not too keen on that one because I haven't seen too much. What I have seen of him is he's quick, cool, but I feel like everybody's seen that one clip of him doing that recovery run and said, bring him in. He's a lefty, he's got pace, and he's willing to die on the pitch, and said, get him in. And for me, I'm just like,
can you blame us, Fuad? Can you blame us?
Listen, I know the basement bar is on the floor, but I would rather someone like a Bella Kotchap is what I've said. Someone like a Diamande who is at I said Hinsafi. What did he say? Hincape is that what I want me to say? Hey, listen. But I would personally prefer a Bella Kotchap rather than a Van der Ven, is what I said.
You know what?
Bella Kotchap, I'm moved. That for me looks solid. That's a young prospect one who can maybe sit on the bench. When he gets his minutes, I think Bella Kotchap will take his chance. But Tapsoba, Romero, you can play that as a 2. And in worst case scenario, you can play all 3 of them at once.
I like Bella Kotchap, and I said that I would welcome Spurs poaching him from Southampton to come in alongside a recognized first 11 centre back. But I can't lie, this Van der Ven kid is moving me from what I've seen. Pause. He's moving me, man, because I feel like when I'm watching not just the clips of his recovery ones, but his ability to play, bro. Like, he gets the ball, he'll beat players, he can pass the ball, he's 6'5", right? He's good in the air, bro. He's good in on the ground in the tackle from what I've seen in the comps. Never watched a Wolfsburg game in my life of his. Never, right? But just off the little I've seen, he looks good. I've been asking bare people. I asked German Dan. I'm asking people like, yo, what do you know about this guy? That's why I asked you. I'm like, what do you know about this guy? Because I'm looking at the comps, and comps are obviously made to make a player look great. Like, it doesn't tell the full picture. It's the same with Vicario. The same way a lot of people are waxing lyrical about Vicario. I had to ask on Twitter, like, yo, this can't be the real. Like, give me something negative about him so I can actually have like a balanced view. And people were saying that he's crap at parrying shots. Van der Ven, I don't know what the negative view on him is. What is he not good at? So I know the full picture, right?
And that's my thing is I don't know where I can get that kind of full picture so quickly. And it seems like this deal is actually advancing quickly as well, because Liverpool are apparently involved as well. So I think that's probably why we're trying to speed up the deal. Listen, I'm not mad at it. If all these metrics and people are saying, oh, he's quick, he's left-footed, he can play with the ball, it all sounds wonderful. And if he comes in and it works out well, it's good. But as you said, I want like a full balanced view. And at the moment, I'm sorry, I don't have that. So I can't sit here and rave and hype about someone who I don't know and say, yo, this is the one, Tobes. I'm telling you, Van der Ven, he's Dutch, he's young, he's going to be the one. No,
that's fair. That's fair. I mean, we can only go off what we've seen, right? And neither you or me have watched this guy play. I'm literally just going off the hype and the comments, man. But
anything that will stop Lenglet from coming back. I'll definitely take that. Put it that way.
I think that's the key. I think that's the key, right? Because Spurs in recent days have distanced themselves from Lenglet and are focusing on Tapsoba and Van der Ven, which is good, right? When you look at the profile of both players, both young, both want to play with the ball. I think in Tapsoba's case, based off the stats, he looks a better defender. And I think he's outperformed Van der Ven. So he seems like the guy that probably would be more beneficial for Spurs in comparison to Van der Ven. But listen, if they're good and the club have done their homework, bring them both. Honestly, that's all I care about. As long as the club have done their homework, are these guys actually good enough? If you've done your homework, you've done your scouting, and the data checks out to say this guy's good, I'm all for it, man. It doesn't need, for me, I don't care if the centre backs cost 50 million each, 60 million each, 70 million each. That's the club's business. Just bring us 2 good centre backs, young, hungry, dynamic centre backs. I don't want to see no tractors linked to Spurs. I don't want to see no old heads linked to Spurs. I don't want to see no defenders with defects linked to Spurs. I'm sick of it.
Which one of the has-been survives? Yeah, because one has got to survive.
Unfortunately, it's looking like Dyer. It's looking like he's the one that's going to survive, and that's making me sick. I saw an article yesterday that was saying that Dyer is going to be is likely to stay at the club this summer. Why? I was on your camp as well. The way I see it with these players is like, I would sell them for as low as possible. I would take anything for them. Like, I wouldn't even put, like, initially I was thinking, I said, you know what, maybe we can squeeze like a 15 million for Dyer because he is quite experienced and stuff. But now I'm like, I don't even care.
Nah,
5 million, I'll take it, bro.
You have to make these men look like a steal, if that makes sense. Like, if you put up Dyer for 10 million, some bozo like Wolves is going to think, oh, that's a steal. He reminds me of Dendonka. Let's get him in. Cool, take him. That's how you fob these men off, bro. It's not trying to recoup anything. It's like, yo, what? Sanchez for 7 million? Yo, that's a steal. Cool, take him. Like, just get rid. I'm telling you.
Yeah, man. I think that should be the policy this summer.
This, hey, all I'm saying is though, is well done on James Maddison so far. Vicario, if he is what everybody says he is, well done on that so far. Ange, well done, good job so far. But these next two, these two defenders, this is where the chunk of the Windows rating will come in.
I agree. I fully agree.
This is where your bread will be buttered, is all I'm saying. Like,
fully agree.
Nice. That is like you've shown me a glimpse of what you can do. Now, can you do something for me, Ange? Angelos, can you do something for me?
Angelos, not just Ange, Scott Munn, Daniel Levy, whoever it is that's behind the scenes, Gabbanini or whatever his name is, whoever it is that's behind the scenes, looking at these players, brokering these deals, it's not enough. I tweeted this shit yesterday. Maddison's nice, quality signing. Vicario, if he comes good, great. It's just a drop in the ocean. There are still so many players that need to go, and there are still two. Not one, I need two centre-backs this summer. Non-negotiable. If we don't sign 2 centre-backs this summer, I'm capping my rating for the window. Straight.
And I need like one to be an A-type centre-back. I don't want like a B-type centre-back and a project potential. I want an A-type centre-back and I'll take a project. An A-type centre-back and a B. Like, that's what I want.
It has to be, like you said, it has to be an A and a B or an A and a project. It can't be a B and a B or a B and a project. It has to be one that is guaranteed. We are confident that this guy can start for Spurs week in, week out with Romero in a high line and can do a job to a good standard. That's it. That's it. And the thing is with Spurs as well, like obviously we wanted Bastoni. Bastoni is the A-star candidate, right? But Bastoni's not going to come to Spurs. He doesn't want to come to Spurs. Do you get what I'm saying? I'm not even asking for Tottenham to sign an elite centre-back. Like, I look at the centre-backs in world football. Guglielmo, we can't sign him.
That last comment.
Lukeba.
Give that man the director of football's job there. He knows what he's talking about. What's Lukeba about? Lukeba is a dog, bro. Like, literally, he's the next one up from Leon's academy, the centre backs. You see how last summer I was saying, oh, we should go get Badia Shield. TOBS,
I'm starting up this summer. I'm starting up this summer. Listen, you're in your tactical bag these days. These days. SDS has got you doing your homework, so I'm
SDS, like, bro. This is before SDS. Give me my fucking news. Hey, listen. That for me, if we got Tapsoba and Lukeba there, that says to me was serious. That says to me, all right. If we get even a Lukeba Bella Kotchap, Tapsoba Bella Kotchap, that to me says calm. And everybody knows France is like a churning factory for centre backs these days, bro. Like literally, there you go. They're like a factory, bro. So for me, he is the next one out of the factory line. I'm telling you, this season, from what I see, I've seen 1 or 2 moments, of course, where he's had a few red cards and things like that, but they're all in the right essence of the team. You know, last man through on goal. You ain't getting this goal, big man. I'll take the red card. I'm like, these are the kind of red cards.
You know I like you, Fuad. You're passion merchant. You are put your head on the boot. You're put your head on the boot style defender.
Hey, I need men that are leaving this pitch with blood, sweat, or tears. 1 of 3. That's all I ask for, please. Or let me leave with one of those. But I believe those 3 names, I'd be very happy with that.
Fair. Well, listen,
do me a favor as well. When we get off this year, go look up or everyone in here. And this, I'm telling you, I watched this kid like 4 games last year. 2 of them were in the Arsenal game, and then 2 of them, I was so impressed. I went, yo, I'm actually gonna watch. There was 1 game versus Benfica, and I think it was the cup final. I can't remember, but Ousmane Diomande for Sporting Lisbon. Anybody has some free 5-10 minutes, go watch a few compilations and just let me know your thoughts, please, because This kid is bro. I tweeted it like 3 months ago. I was like, yeah, man. Whoever gets this one, problem. I'm telling you.
Did he play against us? I don't think he did he?
Nah. He only started breaking into the team in the second half of the season, bro. And it's crazy how they were talking about like Antonio Silva started the season. I can't lie to you. He might be the truth. Usman Diomande, brother. Todibo's another one as well, actually. Saeed, that's a good shout.
Yeah, I've always liked Todibo. I don't know why Barca was so quick to discard him. I've always thought that there's something in him, man. But either way, one thing I will say is I'm not.
What was he gonna say?
I said I'm calm. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can't. I was saying I'm calm with the names that we've been linked to this summer in terms of signings. Apart from Longley, I feel like the club are looking for players. You don't really see us outside of Longley. You're not really seeing us heavily linked to players that are over the age of 26, and it feels like the players that we're being linked to are specifically solving a problem that we have in our first 11, not just the squad, the first 11. So the left centre back, goalkeeper, the attacking mid, etc. So we'll see how it pans out, man. But like we said, 2 centre backs or bust. If I don't see 2 centre backs of the right caliber, forget about it. Forget about it. This guy's crazy. This KG guy is crazy. Look at the nonsense he's linking us to. Robin Koch. I told him this guy's jazz, and he said, "Oh no, Koch is good. Koch is good." Come on,
you know who's the better one, bruv? If anything, Woba.
I don't really. Is he really that good though?
He was better than this one, Robin.
Yeah, but does that say much? It's like saying Dyer is better than Sanchez.
True.
Yeah, do you get what I'm saying?
It is better than diarrhea.
Speaking of Dyer as well, obviously you saw that news. You saw that news that he's gonna.
That's a crazy segue. That's a crazy segue.
What, diarrhea?
Diarrhea, and you go, yeah. Speaking of Dyer, that's a crazy segue.
But and we need to talk about him because obviously he's got a year left on his deal, and it looks like the club are gonna keep him.
Yeah.
Would you be too fussed about Dyer being kept if the club are able to do their business and bring 2 new centre backs?
No, I have no problem with seeing his sulking face on the bench.
I can't lie, I want him gone, man. Even if we bring 2 centre backs.
The thing is like as a 4th choice, calm. You can rot on the bench. I have no qualms. Like literally the 4th option, cool. But otherwise, who's it going to be? Ben Davies, Tanganga. Who's the other one?
I would keep Ben Davies as like an auxiliary 4th option because he can cover 2 positions. I don't like him. He is tired, but I think on the left-hand side with Destiny coming in, I imagine Reguilon's going to be sold and Cess is garbage. So
that's where I think Reguilon should be kept as a backup.
I wouldn't mind Reguilon as backup.
Reguilon left
back. Be sold.
I think it should be Destiny and Reguilon as the left backs, in my opinion. The Davis thing, I can kind of hear it. Maybe give some experience cover. I don't know, but does Dyer not have the same level of experience? I think the only thing is, Dyer's more susceptible to a mistake than Davis, but Davis is just as bad as well, man.
Listen, I'm very easy with getting rid of both, but I just feel like if it's between the two, I'm keeping Ben Davies. I think I'm done with Dyer. I just want his influence just removed from this team altogether. Even if he's
do you know what I hear? Who's the next kid up from the academy, man?
What, defender?
Yeah, man, there must be one of them. We're always talking about
that young centre back, Dorrington.
Alfie Dorrington. Hey, call him up.
Nah, it's too early.
Hey, why not?
Too early.
What European football are we playing? The squad doesn't need to be that deep this year. We need to just focus. I think that's the misconception as well, is this season actually needs to be focus on getting the starting 11 right. Like, I'm happy even rolling with like a skeleton bench, but the clear out has to be huge. I think if you focus on getting the 11 right, you're calm there.
Fully agree. And I think,
man, Alfie Dorrington, listen, call him up. Be around the squad this season. You know what I mean? He ain't gonna get many minutes. You'll still be playing under 23. But hey.
So we're gonna. It's good that you mentioned clear outs as well, because we need to talk about players who could leave the club. Obviously, Harry Winks has left, or Harry Winks is on route to leaving, and then there's many more players that need to go. But there's one player who obviously we need to speak about, who hasn't signed a new deal yet. Our best player at the club. We don't know what's happening with him this summer. Obviously, Bayern came in with that KFC meal price bid for Harry Kane that got swiftly knocked back. Big up, I don't even know how you pronounce this. Zephyr Hash. Yeah, sorry, bro. Sorry for butchering your name, but he added you, Fuad. He said, great showing on Mastermind. Was thinking you fallen off until that last round. What is happening with Harry Kane this window? I just joined, so sorry if you've already discussed it. Big up. I mean, yeah, where do you stand on this with Kane? Because my view is he wants to leave the club. He wants to leave. So it's in our best interest to try and get a maximum value for Harry Kane and move him on this summer, because he's going to leave the club next year on a free transfer. But we only can move him on, in my opinion, for the right price. We can't just be moving him on for chicken change. What's the point?
Yeah. Let me ask you, what is the right price? Because I have a right price in mind. What do you think is the right price?
Ideally, £100 million. I think that is, for me, that's a fair price for Harry Kane. But I think if I were working for the club, a compromise would be around 90 to 95 million pounds. I think that is fair for Harry Kane personally. I think go on.
I think 85 mil.
Pounds or euros?
85 million pounds is what I'll accept. Like, especially if it means he's going off to Germany as well. He won't even trouble us. Record will stay. Listen, go for it, mate. I'll take it. But if it's to a Premier League rival, I think, yeah, you're talking more 90 maybe. But I think 85 to 90, you bite your hand off, man. I'll be honest with you. But if it's also a situation where he's held hostage, would you be mad at him staying? Would you be mad that if we didn't sell him and take that opportunity to cash in on him, and we try and see, I don't know, what can be done?
No, I can never be mad at Harry Kane staying at the club. Impossible. I can never be mad. I just don't think it makes sense to run the risk of him leaving on a free transfer when you could make a lot of money off him this summer. I think it doesn't make any sort of sense from a squad building perspective, because there is a huge chance he's going to leave the club on a free transfer. I mean, keep him. I'm never going to complain at another year of Harry Kane, but I just feel like the club might not be better off for it when he does leave us in the summer, because we won't have funds that we would have been able to get this summer to potentially replace him.
Okay, but when you look at the striker market, who do you think we could go and replace him with right now? Because I look at maybe a Højlund, an Evan Ferguson. I was maybe thinking, but that he's just signed a new deal. I don't see that many options out there. Like a Vlahovic would be a big gamble with Juve obviously being broke. Could you maybe take advantage of that situation? But I don't even see him kind of maybe going for that, having turned down Arsenal last year.
I think the way I see it, right? The way I see it is there's no striker we can get that's going to.
Ivan Toney is a good shout, actually.
Who? Tony.
Ivan Toney is a good shout, but then he's banned for 6 months as well. So it's like,
and he's what, like 27 years old already? He's going to be 28. So
yeah.
The way I see it is this, right? There's no striker in world football who Spurs can realistically get that's going to be able to stack up to Harry Kane. There's going to be a drop off. The best we can do is find a striker that can be good enough for the manager and make sure that the rest of the team is is padded. Make sure the rest of the 11 is padded. If I'm looking at strikers in Europe now, Evan Ferguson is one I would definitely be keeping my eye on. He's homegrown, and he, profile-wise, he fits what Harry Kane. Obviously he's nowhere near as good as Harry Kane, but he fits the style of striker that Harry Kane is, where he can facilitate, he can hold up the ball, he can drop deep, he's a threat outside the box, and he's quite physically imposing. I like the look of Gonzalo Ramos. I've not really watched him extensively, but I like the look of him, and I feel like Benfica, they're a selling club. They're a selling club. I think if you put the money down, they're
trying to they're not cheap sellers though, bruv.
How much are they asking for him?
They come and mortgage your fucking stadium to come and get this 7 out of 10 striker. I don't know. Gonzalo Ramos, he had a banging World Cup, and some of his finishing is good, but I don't know, man. He doesn't move me like that. I'll be honest with you.
I hear you. I hear you. I think
with
him as well.
What about this alternative I was thinking about? Yeah, if Kane does leave, this is for 85, 95 million, whatever it is, moving Son into the middle and signing a left winger.
Yeah, that could work. Son and Richarlison up top. That could work.
Because for me, I look at Son and I'm like, you've basically become a number 9 over the past 2.5 years or so. Yeah. It's essentially just moving you down the middle. The question is obviously he doesn't bring you anywhere near the hold-up play or the link-up play in my eyes. So he really does become a off-the-shoulder striker in his 30s, essentially. But is that something you think he can, A, do? But then for left wingers, then now it becomes, hey, we could spend the money there more, if anything. And I'm like, yo, if anything, left wingers, you'd probably be able to find better quality. Whereas, as I was saying, the pool of strikers out there at the moment isn't that deep. Whereas I think left wingers, there's definitely a few more options you could definitely take a look at.
It's definitely an option that Spurs would need to take. But I guess we need to make sure that we can cater for the style of player that Son is when he plays, because obviously we can't facilitate through him. He can't hold up the ball. He's going to be very much a runs in behind type striker. So I don't know. It's an option. I think it's definitely an option that Spurs should consider. I think if we're not able to find the right value in the striker market, then we should try and make it work with Richarlison and Son in the middle. We should. I think obviously you've not mentioned him, but Richarlison is an option as well.
Hey! Ain't nobody trying to hear that bullshit, man.
What happened to Pruhai? What happened to Pruhai?
Hey, let me before we even get to them, the scraps and bones of this number 9 conversation. Yeah, ew, can't even believe you brought that option up. Listen, I've got a more interesting option. I've got an alternative. You see, I was thinking the Son into the middle, sign a left winger, maybe a Pedro Goncalves, I'm thinking, from Sporting. He is a volumes. When you talk about goals, assists, creativity, and what he did to us as well, maybe bring Marcus Edwards back. You know what I'm saying? Those are wing alternatives anyway. But if we're going back to the number 9 and maybe we want to sign a number 9, I tweeted out something a little crazy when I was at the gym.
Don't even try it. I saw what you did.
Let me land.
This guy must be smoking.
Let me land.
No.
Let me land.
This helicopter is not landed. This helicopter is not landing on this.
Why didn't not let me land? Why didn't not let me land?
Why didn't not let me land? Pitch it. Go on.
Okay. Let me land. Yeah. How much, I asked, do Chelsea want for Romelu Lukaku? Who says no?
Me. I say no. I say no. No. Want me to say in Brazilian? Now. N-A-O. Now. Portuguese even. Let me say it in Portuguese. Now.
Hey, hear me out. Yeah. You are getting a flat track bully. Yeah. So against all the cannon fodder. Forget the Big 6 games. Forget Champions League games, because we ain't got no European games, no big games we're going to do anything in. So we just need a flat track bully to help us get us up the league. Someone who scored 100 Premier League goals, yeah, and someone with a point to prove. Or what? Harry Kane leaves for 85 million. You don't want to take a loan, maybe?
No.
Just to see?
You know why?
You're telling me tap in Tobi. You are telling me you would prefer Prue Hive up top than Romelu.
That's not what I said. Prue Hive is at our club. Richarlison is at our club, and he's a player that I like, but this is very much last chance saloon for him this season. If he doesn't score goals or deliver this season, it's over. It's done. I'll cut ties with Richarlison. But what I'm saying is, I don't want to lumber the club with more dead weight. And the thing is, I've got so much time for Lukaku. Like, I really wanted it to work. Even though I hate Chelsea, I really wanted it to work for him. It was time for him to prove himself again in the Prem, that he is what he says he is, but he's just not it. And the thing is, we're not talking about the old Lukaku. If you said, can you sign the old Lukaku, maybe at Man United, who lost his way, but clearly there's a striker there, calm. But we're talking about a 30-year-old Lukaku now who just isn't that guy. When you look at how much he's going to cost, he's on just under 300 bags a week in wages. He's mad overweight. He's just
deducted. That's where you finesse Chelsea and tell them, hey, we only paying 50%. You ain't getting no loan fee, and we'll take him.
You know what is though, Fuad? You know what is though, Fuad? You know what I'm going to say? What I'm going to say is this. So we've got a manager now who is ultra aggressive. He wants to press, etc., etc. That's not Lukaku. He's not a presser, whether you like it or not. This guy, him leading your line, your press from the front, it's gonna fail because that's not his MO. That's not his bag at all. So you're telling me that he can't press from the front. He's not a good facilitator. The one thing that he used to be able to do, which is score goals for fun against the smaller teams, he's not even doing that right now. And the injury problems, the injury problems have increased greatly. Like someone put here in the comment, Kane is also not a presser. You're right, Kane isn't a presser, but Harry Kane brings so much more to the table, right? So much more to the table. So really and truly, we're looking at Lukaku as your ability to score in the mid or low level games. And even that he's struggling to do right now. Listen, I hope it works out for Lukaku elsewhere, but respectfully, we cannot afford to carry any more passengers. We can't. And right now, that hard N-word is a passenger. That brother is a passenger right now. Yes, I said it.
Hey, I feel like you're just scared of the potential memes that could come out of it.
You know what? The memes are there already.
You know what's coming, that's why.
The memes, listen, brother, the memes are there already. You know what the new thing is? Ever since you bastard as well, yeah. Ever since that, you see the Insta one, bare people are sent. Fam, let me even show you the tweet that someone sent. Some guy sent me. I must have tweeted something random about Spurs, and he put. Oh, let me see what he
just
put.
Doing
well.
I saw it. Hey, this is why I love the internet, man.
I tweeted something about a girl, well, it wasn't about a girl. It was about, I tweeted something about Leroy basically responding to a girl, doing a U-turn on a girl, innit? Yeah. And this guy just randomly put this. He goes, oh, look. when you charge your phone, despite it being that. So for me,
the game is the game, B.
This is what I'm saying. Lukaku, for me, he's on a downward trajectory, man. And I feel like, listen, you've done your bit.
Fair enough.
You've done your bit.
You ain't got to deny it too much. Don't worry. I don't want him that badly. But it was just like an obscure option, you know, a deadline day maybe. Hey, you know what? Why not? Megan at the stadium, shaking the old tatas. Let's go, baby.
You read this?
Who fits Ange more, Lukaku or Richie? Yo, is that sentence sounds crazy.
It doesn't though. We all know Lukaku.
Hey, yo, who fits Ange more, Lukaku or Richie? Yo,
hey, calm on. Pause.
Hey, pause, big man. Pause. Yo, take it off the screen, big man.
But we know what he meant. We know what he meant, right?
Lukaku, I don't know. What did you mean by that, buddy? What did you mean by that? Huh?
What do you mean by that? Huh? But listen, no, I think I think with the Kane one, it's actually going to be interesting to see how that pans out. Ultimately, I just want what's best for the club. If that is a case where teams have not made the right bid and it's better to keep Harry Kane than to accept some poxy 50 or 60 million, I'm calm with that. However, if a team comes in with 100 million, even 90 million pounds, Spurs should really take that. Genuinely, we should, because he's not going to stay. He's not going to stay next season. He's not. He's going to leave, bro. Maddison is not enough. It's not enough, bro. He's going to leave. Let's be real. Yeah, I'm sure, bro. He's going to leave, man. If he stays, happy days. Oh, happy days.
You know what? All right, I've accepted it. No club wanted me in the summer. I got a nice little thing going with Matters. Me and Son got our little handshakes back. We're maybe competing little, Champions League spots. Kane might sign that thing, man. I know Kane is very... If there's any player who I think is capable of renewing their deal at this time, it's actually Harry Kane. I'm not lying to you.
I'm missing. I need to see it to believe
I
it.
Actually think he might.
I don't believe it right now, personally. But moving on from Kane, let me even quickly read some super chats as well. Yeah. So big up HW. He says Colin Mwani would be best fit for Ange football. I like Colin Mwani, but he's too much money, bro.
That fee?
He's too much money. It's like what they're asking for, like 100 million euros for a 1 in 3 guy. Nah, sorry, it's too much.
Him and Osimhen are literally being proud side of that market, man. I feel
bro, it's mental. But thanks for the super chat, bro. He says Foggy Foam says move Son up front and buy Pepe off Porto. I've never watched the Pepe play, so
same. I haven't either, but I like that he's with the idea of moving Son up front.
Thanks for the super chat, bro. And then Azad says, do you guys think we should loan Sarr or keep? I think we should keep him and play him, He's better than Skip.
Do you think moving Højbjerg out and letting him take that natural position?
No, I think if Højbjerg gets moved on, we'll talk about Højbjerg. I think we need to bring one more in. The reason why I say we need to bring one more in is because I feel like Bentancur, he's not going to be back ready for the start of the season. Do you get what I'm saying? So we need someone to play alongside Bissouma. And I feel like within that, then you can use Sarr in rotation. If we had one more in, we could have a new midfielder and Sarr to basically rotate with Bentancur and Bissouma. And then you have Ndombele there. And then you have Skip for depth, man. Really and truly, listen, I like Oliver Skip, right? But he's not that good. I'll be real. Let's just call a spade a spade. He's not that good a player. He's very, very, very basic, right? But he works hard and he's diligent in his duties on the football pitch. So we need to keep him around. I don't mind Skip being kept for rotation, but we need to improve the options ahead of Skip. And that's where I'm more concerned about. The options ahead of Skip on the bench and the options ahead of Skip in the starting 11 we need to improve. And that moves me on to Højbjerg. Obviously, he's been linked with a move away to Atletico Madrid. Where do you stand on this?
See the thing with Højbjerg, yeah. I'll always have love for him, man. The guy's never cheated me out of effort. I'll say. You know me, I love a man who's willing to die on the pitch. And many a times I thought he's died on the pitch, but I tweeted it out earlier, bruv. Like, I think for value for money, what he's coming for. You got to remember, this guy came in for 15 million in a time when we were dying for a defensive midfielder win. We had Winks, Sissoko. It was just a bad mix. Wanyama on his last legs. And he came in and plugged the gap solidly for 2 years. But the past year or so, he's just been so inconsistent. I feel like he's either been really good or just looked so far off the pace, stuck in the mud, unable to find a pass. But then there's been games where you think, right, this is the guy I need. So I don't know. I feel like it's just a perfect time, in my opinion, to cash in on him. We've got Bissouma, we've got Bentancur, we've got Skip. And if we move him on, potentially getting in another one, you've got 4 solid options that can all do, or 3 options at the moment that can all do what he pretty much does on the pitch, but to a higher level. So for me, it just makes sense. And I think from a perspective of, I've heard 2 links. The one where he's linked to Bayern, which I think would be a nice homecoming trip. They would freshen up their midfield as well. And then there's the Atletico one, where I think, to be fair, if there's any team who he's cut from the same cloth, it's Atletico Madrid. So I actually think that's a good fit. So it's a win-win situation for everybody, in my opinion. He's still got 2 years left on his deal. So I would be looking at maybe about, I said 25 plus, with the lowest being about 25 is what you take. And you'd still make a 10 million profit from Højbjerg. But I think, listen, good servant. It's a shame his best performances were probably during our worst period, I think. And I think the one time where we were able to get him a midfield partner who could actually elevate his level in Bentancur, his actual levels dropped. So for me personally, I'll always have a soft spot for him because I loved his playing style and what he gave us in those first 2 years. But I think it's time to kind of move on and kind of cash in if you can.
Yeah, I'm with you completely, bro. We're singing from the same hymn sheet. I love Højbjerg as a person and as a personality. I feel like he doesn't really hide off the pitch, but he hides on the pitch, and that's what is concerning for me. For someone who has shown the capability to make some good passes here and there, he's way too toothless with the ball, man. Like, his pass selection can be so uninspiring or just outright shocking, and the way in which his level drops considerably when Bentancur isn't playing alongside him is scary. Like, it's absolutely scary. I don't think he's a bad player completely, but I don't think he's good enough to justify the amount of minutes that he's played at Tottenham. And someone put it in the chat, but he signed like a 4 or 5 year deal. He now has 2 years left. So this summer is a pivotal point for Spurs. Do you give him a new deal or do you move him on? And right now, he does not deserve a new contract. So the alternative is you have to move him on. You have to sell him. And I'm calm with a sell. Like you said as well, I said I would try and push for 30 million, but I'll take 20. I'll take 25. I think.
No, 20 is too low in my opinion. 25 is the minimum. I think 25 to about 30, 33 if we could push some add-ons or whatever. But I think 20 is too low.
You know what? I'm gonna take
international in his peak, and I know for a fact if he goes to Atletico or Bayern, he's gonna be playing regular minutes. Don't try and cheat me.
I think, you know what, I'll stick with 30. I feel like 30, as pants as he was for us in 2023, I feel like 30 is a reasonable price for Højbjerg. Because
scenes when he goes for 12 million.
But I think we need to we definitely need to go on.
Who would you want to see as a replacement if he was to go for that kind of price range? I've heard like Amrabat, which is, I would say, the ideal replacement, but I think is maybe looking at clubs a bit above us and looking in the Champions League, if I'm honest. I said Kakare from Lyon, who I've seen a few times this season, and I felt like he was even better the year before, but he is one, I think.
But do you feel like he's not? I feel like he's a bit too lightweight. He plays too lightweight.
Even Enzo Lafi is another one I was going to come to as well. He's small and lightweight like that, but sometimes those they don't need to physically compete because the football IQ is so much higher. And I honestly look at Kakare positioning where he picks up. I think he's incredible with that with Lyon. He's shown that. And let's not forget, bro, French Ligue 1 is a physical league, bro. Them big Africans playing centre mid, you want to go box to box with them Decores and them, man. Cool. Kakare is
I can't lie. Someone put in
again?
Lavia, someone put in the comments, and my friend mentioned it today. I think he's an option that we should look at as well. I know he's young. I know that there are games where his passing is wayward and stuff, but fundamentally, again, he's homegrown and he is actually good. And he plays as a 6, right? He plays as a 6.
Has he got his heart set on Arsenal though?
I don't know.
And a Champions League club. I feel like he's one that's looking at maybe a Chelsea or an Arsenal and thinking one of them two is going to give him that, either the Champions League or the big payday. We can't really provide either one, is how I see it. All we can kind of say to him is, we'll give you regular minutes, and is that even guaranteed?
You know what, though? You know what? Like, I think if we sold Højbjerg, ideally, I'd want to bring someone in. But if we didn't bring someone in, then I would like to see Saul get more minutes, man. I genuinely would. I just want to see what he can do, man. I'm not even saying he's the be-all and end-all, but let's try and see what he can offer us. We paid money for this guy, and he's shown glimpses, but we've never really seen him have a sustained run in the team. So I would like to see what he can do. And to be honest, even if we did sell Højbjerg, yes, I would want Spurs to ideally sign a replacement, but I'm not going to lie to you. My main focus is on that defense. I want the resources that we have now. I want all of it pulled towards signing 2 centre backs. And if that means we sell Højbjerg and we don't bring in another midfielder, I'm content with working with Maddison, Ndombele, Sarr, Bissouma, Bentancur, and Skip. I'll take that for the season. I'll take that for the season, bro.
Right, I fully agree with.
Genuinely.
Yeah, Ndombele's included. Don't worry, he's included in that batch. Don't worry, man. One last dance, baby. One more.
This is actually a shout, you know. This is a shout. Locatelli. What do you think?
Euros hype, man. I've never been a huge fan of it. I remember Arsenal fans were trying to gas him up when he was linked with them. I've watched Juve a couple of times. He's never really moved me, to be fair. I look at him as like an Italian Rabiot. I looked at him and Rabiot and I was like, treacherous twins.
Fair. I think the one that would have been nice is the my man. I didn't really watch him extensively, but everyone was raving about him. Ugarte, I think, to play in the 6. Obviously, he's gone to PSG now. But
he is literally Højbjerg's twin, by the way.
Really?
Yeah. I kid you not, he's Højbjerg's twin.
Yeah, but I did like the shout on Amrabat as well. So, but anyway, it is what it is. We'll see how this pans out. I think Højbjerg, he's open for a move, so let's see how that pans out. But I think before we end it, I just want to get a reiterated view from you in terms of the players that you want to see leave this summer. Because I'll go first with mine. Lo Celso, Rodon, Dyer, Sanchez, Tanganga. Who else? Lloris. I would like to see the club potentially rip up his contract. Perisic. I don't mind Perisic staying, but I think just for the sake of playing a different way, I think I wouldn't be mad at the club sort of ripping up his contract and letting him go off and find another club. Brian Hill, I would loan again. Spence, I would loan again. Let me even bring this up because I tweeted this yesterday. Where is it? I put a mad list. Yeah. And then the Reguilon is one as well. Højbjerg was one, and then Reguilon. I feel like the club are looking to sell Reguilon, so move him on. I think he can retain more value than Ben Davies. Even though I would keep him, he retains more value than Ben Davies.
Not Ben Davies again. Ugh. Please, man. How many more times get away with this? No. Give Reguilon another chance and get rid of Ben Davies.
I'm calm with that. I'm calm with.
Reguilon and Destiny on this side, and on that side,
do you think the club want to keep Reguilon?
I want Jed Spence and Porro. I don't want no fucking Emerson. I don't want no fucking Davies. I don't want no fucking has-beens. Get them all out, bruv. Every name you just mentioned there should be gone.
This chat is facts. We have so many trash players. It's unreal. Bro. It's mental. Like, as
I said, next season we need to not worry about depth for me. I don't care about depth. I just want a solid 11. The solid 11 means taking care of the centre-back right now, which is the key position. Then after that, we can start looking beyond that. For me, I think we need to look at another forward. I think we need to definitely look at another centre-back as well, as we said 2 before. But I don't know, man. People are saying Reguilon is crap, Reguilon is not good. Brother, he barely played at Atletico. And during our time in the first half of the season, I remember he was very good. And then second half, he tailed off from injuries and Sessegnon being given his random chance. It's like, yeah, man.
Listen, you know what it is with Reguilon? He's not a bad player. Like, he's definitely not a bad player, but I don't think he's good enough to be playing week in, week out. And I don't think he would be playing week in, week out because we got Destiny to come in now. Yeah. I think he's definitely someone, if he was willing to accept the rotation role, he's definitely someone that could play in rotation. But again, I feel like with the way that Ange set up at Celtic, playing that inverted role, I don't know if he would be good in that role. I don't really think he'd be good in that role. So I don't know, man. I feel like the club are definitely set on selling him, but then again, we don't know. We haven't heard from Andrew on who he wants to keep, who he wants to sell. So once it hits the 1st of July and we start seeing more press conferences, then we'll see. The preseason starts, I think the preseason's in a couple of weeks. So we'll see. We'll know from the preseason tour in terms of who gets selected, who gets left behind. We'll know whether Reguilon is in the manager's plans, but it's a long summer, man. We need to, like you said, we need to make a concerted effort.
Did you put Emerson Royale on that list of players you're getting rid of?
I didn't. I know. Trust me. I've had many a debate with
like he literally.
I'm sorry.
No. There's no. I'm sorry. Shut up. Yeah, because he gave you 6 months of form. Yeah, where he said, "Yo, I'm gonna give you this golden goose, so you can put me on the market in the summer and actually get back some of the money you spent." And instead, you don't want to use that 6-month little blip to think, no. Maybe he can be of some use for us defensively. Where Porro's going that way, Porro ain't got a defensive. How about you just coach Porro? How about you just coach the damn player?
But the thing is, Fuad, the problem annoyingly. No, honestly, hear me out. I'm not happy with
money.
I'm not happy with this. Trust me. Believe you me. If in an ideal world, I would get rid of Emerson yesterday, right? But the problem we have is Emerson is one of maybe 3 players right now at the club who can actually defend. And where Pedro Porro is so about what he does going forward, if we're going back to a traditional back four, it's the truth. If we're going back to a traditional back four and we're going to be playing with a back four where the fullbacks are inverted, I think he gives us reasonable balance, right? You've got Porro, who is ultra attacking, much better on the ball, and you've got Emerson Royale, who can come in and can be responsible in our side of the pitch. That's the way I'm just having to sort of look through it now. That's the argument that's been put to me. Emerson has defended. I said, okay, fine, cool. It's enough now. He's not in the manager's plans to be moved on this summer. I think for one season, we can run with it. Loan out Jet Spence to a Premier League club. Let him find his feet. I know it stinks. Bro. I know. I really know it stinks, right? But unfortunately, that's the position we're in now. Beggars can't be choosers. We can't afford to have men who can't defend.
For me, the whole purpose of signing Porro was we finally have a player who we can build that position around. And yeah, it was the back five or the wing back or whatever. But I still feel like as a coach, you should be able to coach a player. Like I've seen wingers in bloody Perisic get converted to wing backs. I've seen Ashley Young get converted from a winger to a fullback. I've seen Valencia get converted from a winger to a fullback. Like I've seen it being done before. So when people are telling me like Porro's cooked defensively or whatever, like Ange, I'm looking at you, big man. Can you coach something for me, please? This is where I'm saying, like, okay, I heard the Jed Spence maybe send him out on loan, maybe keep him as a backup option, but I look at Emerson, I'm like, bro, if a 20 million bid to 25 million bid comes in, pack your bags.
Yeah, I'm not here saying that Spurs should refuse bids for Emerson. If we had a good bid for Emerson, I would sell him. Genuinely, I would sell him. What I'm saying is, at this point in time, I don't think Spurs are in a position where they can actively put him on the shop window. Do you get what I'm saying? And with Pedro Porro, I'm looking at Ange not to listen. Ange can create a system that can probably protect Pedro Porro, but fundamentally, I'm looking at Pedro Porro to be better defensively, right? I think what Ange can do is put like a structure in place where he gets Pedro Porro doing things that he's really good at and minimizes Pedro Porro doing the things that he's not so good at, right? I think Pedro Porro is not good at defending. And yes, Ange can make a couple of tweaks here and there, but ultimately it's up to Porro. It's up to Porro to make that jump from a defensive point of view.
I agree.
So for me, and
for sure.
Yeah. For me, and go on.
You don't pay that kind of premium money for that type of player to not at least let him develop at that, if that makes sense. Like, I'm not signing Porro for 40+ million or whatever after signing Emerson for 30 mil the other year. Like, nah, Porro, you're the real one. You're meant to be the truth. Cool. You can everything he does going forward, we don't complain about. Going forward, he's perfect for us. The overlap, the pace, the end product, it's all there. So all we need to do is just mold the other side. I believe he can be coached like that. Unless people are telling me Pedro Porro is uncoachable, Pedro Porro cannot be taught anything defensively. The mental side, the positioning, he just doesn't get it. His IQ isn't high. Come on, man. What are we talking about? These are professionals here. And I believe if a coach sets up, as you said, a tactical plan where you can minimize those threats, but then also he can work at those things 1v1 or whatever he does in a separate time. But I would like to think Pedro Porro can improve in that. If people, as soon as they see Porro in a back four, they're like, ha! You are cooked. I'm like, fair enough, but I'm willing to take the gamble of letting him get cooked for 4 or 5 games because you need this lesson.
I think with Pedro Porro, for me, make no mistake, for me, he's my undisputed number 1 at right back for Spurs. I want him. He's the number 1 at right back.
Yeah, sorry. I just read a comment that said they would bench Kulu and start Porro, but carry on. Ignore it.
Because I don't think Pedro Porro is that good a right winger. Sorry, but I think with Pedro Porro, he's shown that this guy has quality on the ball. He's a good passer of the ball, and he's definitely a good striker of the ball as well. And he's brave. So I think with Pedro Porro, I want to see him as the undisputed number 1 choice next season, simply because he's just the best footballer we have out of all our right backs. If we're going to play a progressive style where we want to be dominant with the ball, it only makes sense that we have the best ball players in our 11, right? Yeah. But with that, I think there are definitely improvements Pedro Porro needs to make from a defensive point of view. And I also feel like Ange needs to set us up in such a way that we maintain protection to our back line whilst letting Pedro Porro do the things he's good at. Whether it might be Destiny who tucks in, Pedro Porro hangs out wide, whether it's both Destiny and Pedro Porro who play inverted, we don't know. But either way, the system needs to prevail. Whether it's Basuma that might cover Pedro Porro, whether it's Basuma that might cover Destiny Udoji as well. The manager needs to make it work, right? Needs to make it work. I just think Emerson, unfortunately, we have to keep him right now as a suitable alternative if we want to play a different game, if we want to be a bit more defensive, if we want to sew up the game, if we want to try and be, if we want to employ a belts and braces approach where we need to be on the back foot, you can bring him on, and he plays in the back four as well, which is what Ange is going to incorporate. So, yeah, I've had many arguments with Sai, with Yao, with Tops. I've had arguments with all of these like over the course of last season saying, I want him gone. But I've literally just had to accept it now. Like Emerson Royale, I can't really give a bad word about him defensively.
Give me this guy.
I can't say a bad word about him defensively because I don't think he's a bad defender. And in a team that lacks defenders, I don't think we're in a position where we should just be selling him right now. So it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Here's one. Look at this. This is crazy. Drop Kulu for Porro. People really think Kulusevski's dusted, isn't it, man? It's mad.
No. They're not even saying. Some have been saying like drop Kulu for Porro, but then some have been like moving Kulu to the 10, to the 8, and I'm like, bro, you lot are getting far too experimental. This ain't FIFA. Like, I hear it. I hear the creativity, but no, man.
This is it. This is the problem with Emerson. He's just really shocking. Like, you see the quality of Pedro Porro. You saw the caliber of goals.
I'm sorry. I just keep getting flashbacks to certain moments and crosses, and I remember even him missing a sitter when it came to him in the right position. Bro, get this guy out of my club. Fuck out of here about defensive bullshit, man. Listen, Basuma, slot into that right position, just like Henderson does when Trent bombs forward. That's what I need you to do for Porro.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, this is what
I agree with that part with Porro.
Yeah,
Look at this. Look at this shame. Look at this shameless done. In New York, this guy had the audacity to say that Anthony's better than Kulusevski.
Wala hawla wala quwwata. Hey man, listen, I like both, yeah, but
wait, what do you like about Anthony?
Come on, man. I feel like people will go far too crazy with the Anthony
He's not
standard.
good, man. He's not good for
Okay,
it.
man. Okay, man. Cool. He's not good. Cool, man.
Okay.
That's all I'm gonna say. Cool. If people don't think he's good, everybody's each to their own. But I think Anthony's good. The biggest problem Anthony has is two things. He plays for Man United and he has 100 million fee hanging over his head. You are never gonna fucking beat those allegations, bro. Like, you've seen what's happened to Sancho, and Sancho's fee was smaller. Like, playing for Man United is a different pressure. And that fee, he ain't never living up to that. I'm sorry. Anthony's a nice player, but he's never 100 million. Ten Hag basically overpaid because of his relationship and did Ajax a favor.
Cool. Well, listen, we'll see what Ange thinks about the squad over the next couple of weeks.
Let me ask you, quickly though, just before we go, I want to ask you, who's a better footballer do you think, Richarlison or Anthony?
He's a better footballer, technically.
Just if you had to one winger, you got one side to replace, right wing, left wing. You could pick a left winger in Richarlison or right winger in Anthony. Who would you go? I'm just curious to pick your footballing brain here.
I think this is a hard one. This is a hard wait.
Fucking think about this.
Wait. This is a hard one. What? Richarlison stocks are all-time low because of how bad his season was last year. And Anthony, to his credit, I think he's a better technician than Richarlison. But Anthony's so one-dimensional. His shots are weak. He can't read. Like, he can beat players, but he can't really beat players, and he's not even that fast. I think Richarlison, he's dogged. He gets results. I'm picking Richarlison over Anthony. I'm picking Richarlison over Anthony.
You know how funny, bro. I'll tell you, Anthony has a way higher ceiling than Richarlison.
Based off what?
Based off everything. Much better dribbler, much better shooter for me. Way more consistent, in my opinion. Richarlison has a stronger mindset, I would say. Probably has a better engine, but that's about it. And the thing is those things will work for you in the Premier League. Unfortunately, Anthony lacks that. But listen, people can ridicule Anthony. Ever since the 100 million price tag, so United fans will never get the chance to say, "Ha, I told you so" with Anthony, unless he delivers like a 20-10 season or something like that. I can't see that from Anthony, but Anthony for me is a nice footballer.
Nah, all right, fair enough. Well, listen, bro, thanks for hopping on, man.
Winger, he's a striker. You see how y'all have tricked the people. Richarlison's a striker now. All of a sudden, yeah, cool, man. You see, when you got no standout trait, when you got no standout position, this is what happens.
Richarlison was scoring 13 Premier League goals for Everton from the wing and through the central area.
How many he scored last season?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Last season,
that's a 9.
His stocks are low. His stocks are ultra low, so it's fine. It's fine. It's cool. We will be back.
You hold the most stocks.
I do, and I want people to know on record, if Richarlison does not deliver this season, I'm talking double figures in the Premier League and scoring in cup competitions and actually being a better player, I'm dropping every single bit of stock I have in Richarlison.
You need to shave your beard for 6 months.
What does that mean?
I don't know. I just want to see you full Malteser.
No. But listen, bro, thanks for hopping on, man. It's been good chat. It's been good chat. For those who have tuned in, please make sure you smash the like button. Please make sure you check out Fuad's channel as well. He's been dormant, but he's warming. He's on SDS. He's on DR Sports. He's on Stoppage Time as well. But go give his channel a subscribe. If you haven't subscribed already as well, make sure you like this video. Make sure you subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed already. I'm probably going to do some chat on some more Spurs news tomorrow. Probably an upload. But yeah, Fuad, thanks for hopping on, man. Appreciate you taking the time out. Happy Eid as well, by the way. I didn't even.
Come on. I'm about to go talk into a serious munch right now, B. I'm telling you.
Yeah, family. Yeah. I've been saying to Saeed, I need you lot to bust me. I need you guys to bust me on some good Somalian spots. My friend told me there's a spot in Tottenham that slaps.
Brothers, he's talking about.
Brothers, yes, that's the one. Brothers.
Yeah. That's like the world-renowned one that everyone kind of talks about. Yeah, it's good to be there. Been there a few times.
Outside of today, can you let me know the next time you're gonna go to a Somalian food spot and I'm gonna come, man.
Bro, Somalian food spot hype. I get that homemade blood. Pull up to the crib. That's what I'm gonna need you to do.
Aren't you in West though? I swear you're in West.
Hey.
That's a
Is the
trek.
grub worth it or is the grub worth it? You know what I'm saying? Up to you. You know what I'm saying?
All right, I'll pull up, man. I'll pull up. But thanks for hopping on, man. As I said, people, make sure you do a couple things. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channels, keep your post notifications turned on as well, and just look out for some more content coming up over the next couple of days and weeks. But until then, take care, people, and bless up, man. Bless up.